Hi, I'm Joanne Kelleher. I'm the director of the Early Childhood Collaborative of Southington, and I am here with Mitchell Oliva to talk about Southington Pride. So first, tell me about Southington Pride and the Southington Pride Family and Youth Festival.
Yes, so Southington Pride is an organization that is aimed towards supporting the LGBTQIA plus community, how to support those with disabilities in our community, and also topics of intersectionality. So those are our three main areas of focus. And what we're very fortunate about, especially with our celebration this year and the community support that we've received, is we're going to be able to continue our work in advocacy, including in programs for different people in town to be able to offer assistance and education to this community. And our Youth and Family Pride event is an example of that education in a really positive way. So what we're going to be doing for Youth and Family Pride Festival is the first 2 hours is a family fun hour. So it's run around and play with your families. So we have everything from the train, the super slide, the trike track, everything's going to be fully open. We're going to have inflatables that the kids can go on. We're going to have just a great time for families. What's awesome and I'm really, really excited about too is when you come into camp that day, what you're going to do is you're going to come up to this big tent, and inside of the big tent after you check in, we're actually going to have youth organizations that are all going to have booths there to have different options for families. You know, everything from a little league team to we have 3 of our open and affirming churches that are going to be coming to offer, you know, conversations about the youth ministries they're running. So it's going to be a day that's really geared towards getting families to network with each other and have an opportunity to be able to have a fun day together. And then after the family fun hour, when the kids are running around from 1 to 3, 3 to 4 is going to be drag queen story hour in the amphitheater. So what drag queen story hour is we have a drag queen that's coming in, and we have a drag queen that's going to come in and read books that are open and affirming. So we're reading 3 books that day. So if you want to get a sneak peek, you can check it out. The first book is one of my favorite books. It's called Just Ask by Sonia Sotomayor, and it's a book about children with disabilities. And what I think is really awesome about it is the way that they explain it and the way that they go into it with them. One of the things that they do is they talk about, like, you know, I'm allergic to bees, and this is my EpiPen, and this is how it helps me. So that's a wonderful book that I'm really excited that we'll get to read. Our second book is The Family is a Family is a Family, and I love that book. That book is actually about a teacher, and the teacher is talking to the classroom and is telling the classroom what is something amazing that you enjoy about your family. And what I like about it is it doesn't just touch on a mom and a dad family, 2 moms, 2 dads. It touches on grandparents raising children, aunts and uncles raising children, foster care, an older sibling that has had to step into the role of a parent. So I think it's really awesome because a lot of times some of our children, they may not fall into that category of, you know, mom and a dad. They may be divorced. They may be in foster care. They may be adoption. They may have 2 moms, 2 dads. They may have a parent who's transgender. So I think that that book does a beautiful job of touching that while we all have different family structures, we all are in the same field of deserving love and respect. So I'm excited for that book. And our third book I'm really excited for because it's like a cutesy little book. It's called Peanut Goes for the Gold. So Peanut is a non-binary hamster, and he likes to wear dresses, and he's going for the gold in rhythmic gymnastics, and that's by Jonathan Van Ness. So that's a wonderful book that we'll get to read there. And I think the important thing for Drag Queen Story Hour is that it's an opportunity for children to see different ways that some people live in terms of the books that we're reading. So, you know, one of the things in Just Ask is there's a child in a wheelchair, and it beautifully explains, like, this is my wheelchair, this is how I get around. So it's one of those things where they're going to be able, with their families, to be in an age-appropriate way, to be able to learn about diversity and inclusion.
Nice. So you hinted, but you didn't say, is this event at Camp Sloper, and what's the date and the time?
Yes, so it is. It's at YMCA Camp Sloper, and it is Saturday, May 29th, and it is from 1 to 4 p.m. And what's great about it is the event is actually free to the community. And what we ask for instead of a ticket price is to either bring a donation for the Bread for Life Summer Reading Program or to bring a donation for Lisa Inc. And what's great about that too is those are 2 awesome charities in town who are doing such important work, and we're really excited to be able to give back to them. We recently did a food drive with the Bread for Life as a part of Southington Pride. We were able to bring in over 4,500 pounds of food and $900 in cash. And one of our things that's really central to us and our identity as an organization is giving back to areas in need. So it kind of does two things with this event. So it's Saturday, May 29th, 1 to 4 p.m. You come on in. You can register online on our website. It's really, really important that you register in advance because we are doing capacity limits and we want to make sure that we have an accurate list for that day. And then when you come on in, we'll check in. We have a really cool sticker that you get to wear when you go around, and it says Youth and Family Pride, and it actually has all different families and children with disabilities on it as well. So it's going to be really, really fun. And then not only that, after 4 o'clock, if you wanted to play with your family on the playscape or you want to go to the super slide, you can keep doing that. Or if you want to, we actually have about 18 restaurants that we have partnerships with that are going to be offering meal specials that day. So families will be able to go out to eat if they would like as well and support small business. They're going to have some meal specials, and some of them I know are working on kid specials too, like get an adult meal, kid. So
Right.
we'll explain that all at our family event before the families go. But it's going to be a really awesome day in Southington to focus on diversity and inclusion and supporting one another, both through our nonprofit donations and through our small businesses as well.
Nice. And so the Early Childhood Collaborative will have a table at your exhibit area, so we're excited to be a part of that. You mentioned that the story hour is done by a drag queen. For those who don't know or understand what a drag queen story hour is all about, because some people probably have perceptions of TV shows that they've seen about drag queens, which are not necessarily appropriate for little kids.
Absolutely.
So can you talk about why you're doing a drag queen story hour here at your Youth and Family Fun Festival?
Yeah, absolutely. So Drag Queen Story Hour, the big thing I tell people is when we view drag queen, and when we talked about this at first in December, we were talking about Drag Queen Story Hour, I needed to do some more education myself because my viewpoint was like Miami Drag Show, was it like that? It's not Miami Drag Show. It is very appropriate for children. Drag Queen Story Hour is a national program and they have chapters. We are currently operating as our own personal event that we're doing. We're working with a wonderful agency called Sky Casper Entertainment, and they actually do events that they have had families and youth at. And our drag queen in particular actually has done Drag Queen Story Hours for local public libraries in Connecticut. So she has wonderful experience with that. And what I think is important about Drag Queen Story Hour is two things. I think for some children that are a part of the LGBT community, when they're able to see themselves in that way, it's huge. One of the great honors that we've had is we've been able to work with the GSA at Southington High School.
GSA?
The Gay Straight Alliance, yep. And one of the great things about talking with them, and it was something that I know myself growing up openly gay as a child in Southington struggled with, is visibility. And specifically being able to see yourself reflected in different things. And I think Drag Queen Story Hour is able to do that. And for children that are not a part of the LGBT community, I think seeing Drag Queen Story Hour, what they get a benefit from is like, hey, that's somebody else's way of life. Cool. You know?
And they're dressed up and
they're
having
dressed
fun
up. And I think one of the cool things about Drag Queen Story Hour is children are very performative. They really love performance. They love colorful costumes, different things like that. So Drag Queen Story Hour has that component in it, as well as it has the component of the books that we're reading that day. So specifically to show that there are some other people that may live differently than us, but that's okay. That's a part of our community in Southington. And for a Drag Queen Story Hour, a drag queen, I tell people, and this is one of my favorite quotes from one of my fellow leadership team people, think Disney princess. That is really more what it is. It's a long, flowy gown. They're gonna come out, they're gonna read to the children, and then after that, the families will be able to go. But I think it's one of those things where it's a wonderful day for the community. And while it's a new experience and it might be a little bit confusing for some, one of the things that I highly encourage, I love it, is I love PBS. And I know that that's unusual for a 23-year-old to love PBS. But PBS has a wonderful special on Drag Queen Story Hour. And it specifically actually takes you in. You can see it. You can see the reading. So that's something that we have on our Facebook page too. And we'll make sure we share. But I think it's important for Drag Queen Story Hour to think of it as Disney Princess and rated G. You can have Tom Hanks in a film that is not appropriate. You can have Tom Hanks in a children's film. And this is an environment that's appropriate for children. And for some families, like if you are a family with two moms or two dads, or you are a family that has a relative that's LGBT and you want to celebrate Pride with them, this is how the family event kind of came to be, was we want somewhere age appropriate for our children to celebrate. That is appropriate for kids, and kids love play. So that was one of the things we're able to do. We were able to bring play and Pride together in a child-appropriate environment so that it's somewhere specifically that families are able to go and they're able to have those celebrations for them.
And developmentally, children do learn through play, so that's exciting that you're combining both of those. Is there anything else you want families to know about Southington Pride, or other ways that they can get involved, perhaps?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the most exciting things about Southington Pride is just how quickly we have grown.
Yes.
We originally, and I say this in a wonderful way, was originally going to be a 10-person flag raising ceremony on Zoom. And then we were going to hopefully have 5 or 6 restaurants that had partnerships. And one of the things that was the most humbling was businesses, nonprofits, organizations calling saying, hey, we do a Pride celebration. Can we celebrate it during your time? And we're like, yes, that would be amazing. And it grew so much that we needed 2 weeks. And we joke around that we probably need more than 2 weeks, but we have to put a cap. We have to put a cap somewhere. And one of the most powerful things, though, that we've been able to do with that is we've been able to build out a team of individuals from all different walks of life. So there's people that are a part of our nonprofit experience, grant writing experience, funding experience, legal team. We have people that specifically work with recovery and addiction, people that work with youth and mental health, behavioral health as well. So we've been able as a team to start to form our vision of what we'd like to do in Southington. One of the biggest challenges, and I think this is so important for families to know, is if you have a child who's LGBT and you want them to go specifically to a group, like either like a group program or a program that specifically is aimed towards supporting LGBT kids, the nearest full functioning year-round program is 50 minutes away from Southington. So for a lot of families, if you have 2 kids and one of the kids really would benefit from that service, but you have another kid that's doing travel soccer and you're all over the state, it's a logistical challenge to get there. So we're very excited that we're actually going to be able to launch programs as a part of the money that we've raised to be able to offer free programs to the community where we're able to support each other. STEPS as well just did a wonderful survey. I think in Southington we are truly blessed for STEPS. It is such a pivotal asset for all that they do over there. And the group that is the most at risk of substance abuse right now is LGBT kids. And a lot of times with that population, the reason substance abuse is such a challenge is when you feel your entire life and you turn on the TV and you hear negative things about being gay, or you hear negative things about transgender people. And sometimes you may have a relative in your family that doesn't always say the right things. And this event is a place where they're able to come and they're able to hear you're seen, you're heard, you're loved, and you're accepted.
And it's safe.
And it's safe.
It's a safe space to be. I know many struggle with suicide issues, that the suicide rate is much higher in that population than in others, which is a shame. And so I'm glad that Southington Pride is doing something about that.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I love your shirt. So
Thank you.
You have
Yes.
to show off your shirt.
Yes, thank you. Yes, we have a great shirt. Not only that, we'll hopefully expand the merchandise a little bit too. One of the cool things about it is that I've walked around with this shirt in the community, and I've had different people come up to me and say, like, you know, oh my goodness, we're so excited, or they've shared their personal story of what they have been through and how this is kind of cathartic and healing for them in a way to be able to see this. So I promise to everybody that sees this shirt and you're thinking, I want that shirt, more is on the way. We're working on it. So we'll definitely have some cool merchandise that you get to rep and bring around Southington and help spread the word around Connecticut too. And I think that's important. If you're watching this video and you're in Meriden, you're in Waterbury, you're in Cheshire, please come. Like, we want everybody who would benefit and needs to come to this program to come. Even if you have a child who's LGBT and you're in Durham and you need help and you need support and you need access to different things, we have a lot of connections that we've made in the LGBT community, specifically with behavioral health, and we're happy to spread those resources to you, let you know of psychology offices and therapy places that specifically are open and affirming. And we want to make sure that anybody in our community, no matter if it's Southington or all the way up in Connecticut, to know that Southington Pride is here to help, and we're here to support your family in whatever way possible, whether you are an LGBT family or you are just an ally. We're here to help everybody in the community, and we're here to make sure that everybody is reflected and seen in the community of Southington.
Okay, so one more time, the Southington Pride Youth and Family Festival will be at Camp Sloper on Saturday, May 29th, starting at 1 o'clock. The Drag Queen Story Hour starts at 3 o'clock. It goes until 4, and then people can take advantage of the restaurants offering specials later in the day.
Yes, and I think that's really going to be an awesome thing, is it's a really fun day for families. And not only that, like, we know nap time is a little bit earlier in the day. We know when people get hungry, or especially your little ones get hungry, they need food, and you
Yep.
need to feed them fast. So it's designed around that. And also too, for some families who may not be ready to leave the house yet, and we totally understand, we actually have a virtual drag queen story hour that's going to be on Zoom, and then that one is also free. And instead of a ticket, we're also going to be having some kind of donation way as well, towards a nonprofit. And the cool thing is those events are all on our Facebook. So if you click on our Facebook page, Southington Pride, and you go to events, you'll find it there. The link is there, so it's perfect, and you can register, and your family will be ready to go.
Excellent. Thank you for your time.
No, thank you. We appreciate it. We look forward to not only seeing the Early Childhood Collaborative at the event, but we're looking forward to seeing families, and a great event to dedicate towards our youth and families.
Excellent. Thank you.